College basketball on CBS begins this weekend, and it all starts with Memphis and Georgetown. Hey, how are you, folks? Jason Horowitz, glad to be with you on CBSSports.com, breaking down the game. And to help me do that, we bring in CBS College Sports' Steve Lappas. And Steve, before we get to the game itself and the teams as a whole, there are two freshmen in this game that people probably aren't familiar with just yet. Tyreke Evans of Memphis, Greg Monroe of Georgetown. What should we expect out of them?
Tyreke Evans is the leading scorer for Memphis right now. He averages 16 points a game. He's a really good slasher, gets to the foul line, not a great three-point shooter. 4 for 20 on the season, and that's really one of the Achilles heels of this Memphis team. On the other hand, for Georgetown, you have Greg Monroe, 6'11" center, averaging 13 points a game, shooting 65% from the field and 72% from the foul line. This kid is the real deal. And one thing that he does well, he handles the ball very well, which fits in really good with the offense that Georgetown likes to run.
Now, you talk about missing free throws. Last time we saw Memphis on CBS, they were missing free throws, allowing Kansas to get back into the ballgame and then, of course, win the national title. Lost a lot of key components to that team, from that team, Steve. What do you see when you look at Memphis this year?
I think Memphis is a good team, but they lost a lot. When you lose Chris Douglas-Roberts and Derrick Rose, they lost not only two top scorers, two of their better three-point shooters. So this is a team that right now is really trying to find itself. They're still very good defensively, but I don't think they've found that identity yet. And I think they're even more susceptible this year to playing against zones because their three-point shooting this year, Donnell Mack is their best three-point shooter. He comes off the bench. So I think in that regard, if you can make them play half court, they will struggle at times, especially because their three-point shooting is not even what it was last year, and it wasn't great.
Well, and that, of course, is the question when you play Memphis is, can you prevent them from getting up and down? Last year in this game, Georgetown lost by double figures. They couldn't prevent Memphis from getting up and down. Do you think they can do that this Saturday?
Well, I was surprised the way that game went last year. I thought it was going to be a lot slower-paced game. The game was at Memphis. I think Georgetown has a better chance of controlling the tempo of this game this year. And let's talk a little bit about Chris Wright, the sophomore point guard for Georgetown, who was out most of last year because of an injury. McDonald's All-American, playing great right now. So I think that Georgetown right now is primed, especially being at home, to control the tempo, and they play matchup zone a lot too, making Memphis try to shoot from the perimeter, which is going to be tough for them.
One other guy we have to talk about for Georgetown, because they've lost some big guys up front in the last couple of years, in Roy Hibbert and Jeff Green, but now DeJuan Summers has stepped up into that star role. How much better is he this year than he has been the last couple of seasons? Well,
he's a lot better. He's a lot more aggressive. He's taking the game by the horns a lot more and grabbing it and trying to really be more of a factor now. So he's much more aggressive. But when you throw Greg Monroe out there next to him, those two, that's pretty comparable to what they've had.
Yeah, and it should be pretty fun to watch those two all season long as well. Steve, who wins this basketball game?
Well, I think it's Georgetown, and for the main reason of I think they'll control the tempo. I think they won't turn the ball over, which is big against Memphis, because if you don't turn the ball over and they have to play half court and now rely on Tyreke Evans, who's a little green, not a great shooter, I think it would be Georgetown's advantage.
Keep the game in the 60s and you win it. Steve Lappas, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
And, of course, the game on CBS on Saturday. And for the entire schedule, be sure to take a look at that here on CBSSports.com. For Steve Lappas, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care, folks.